Hey, what's going on everybody? Paul Tech here, and welcome to my full review of the Samsung Galaxy A20. Now, the A20 was released about 7 months ago, but I never did a full detailed review regarding this device. I did a lot of how-to videos, tutorials, case reviews, but never a full review. So it's been 7 months, we are in 2020 now, and I know a lot of people are still thinking about picking this device up even now. So I figure I'll share with you my experience and let you know if I still think it's worth picking up in 2020. And when it comes to the price on the Samsung Galaxy A20, definitely shop around because there are some great deals out there. I mean, you can pick this up fully unlocked for all GSM carriers on Amazon for around $186. Metro by T-Mobile has this for free in a port over special, and Verizon has it for $10 a month for 24 months. Let's talk about design and build now. So on the right-hand side, you got your volume rockers there, and beneath that is going to be your power button. To the bottom, you got a single down-firing speaker, microphone, Type-C charging port, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the left-hand side, I do have the international unlocked model, so I do have dual SIM capabilities here. So you can have 2 SIM cards, 2 phone numbers on this, and then you also could input a micro SD card to expand storage. Up on top is going to be your noise cancellation mic. And moving on to the back of the Samsung Galaxy A20, you're going to get a dual camera setup there. So a 13 megapixel plus a secondary 5 megapixel camera, LED flash, fingerprint sensor to the back, as well as Samsung branding. Now with this device here, you get a embedded 4000 milliamp hour non-removable battery, so you cannot remove the back cover. Now this does look like a very nice, sleek looking smartphone. It is constructed out of plastic material, so it's definitely going to pick up fingerprints, scratches rather easily. So I'm definitely going to recommend that you get a case for your Samsung Galaxy A20 just to preserve the overall look and appearance and the longevity of your device. But it does look really nice. Even though it's constructed out of plastic, it has a really nice look to it. Let's go ahead and talk about that fingerprint sensor now. Now, the fingerprint sensor is a little high up to the back of the A20. For some, it might be a bit of a stretch to reach. For me, it's not an issue. I can reach it perfectly fine, and it works extremely well. It's accurate, not super fast, but it's not super slow. I also love the fact that you can pull down the notification panel with the fingerprint sensor. Another good security feature you're getting with the A20 is facial recognition. Now, the facial recognition seems to work really well, unlocks my device each and every time. Now, there has been some times in the dark or low-lit environments where it can struggle a little bit to see my face, but nevertheless, it works really well. It's accurate and a good feature to have. And moving on to the display now, you're actually getting a really nice Super AMOLED panel on the A20. So it's 6.4 inches, it's HD+, it's an Infinity V display, so you do get the camera cut out to the top of the display there. It's an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. It's not very intrusive or distracting when you are watching videos or movies. This is going to be 268 pixels per inch, so it is a 720p resolution display, so not 1080p, but it is a very nice 720p panel. When it comes to watching YouTube videos, movies, everything does look pretty nice. You get some good viewing angles, nice color reproduction. I mean, if you're looking close enough, you can probably see some pixels, but from normal viewing distances, the display looks perfectly fine. And again, this is a 720p panel, so the highest resolution you're going to be able to watch YouTube videos is 720p 60 frames per second. You get a little bit of a chin to the bottom there, so not the slimmest chin, but for me, it just gives me a place to hold the Samsung Galaxy A20 to the bottom. Now, since you are getting a Super AMOLED display here, a feature that you have, which is really nice, is the dark mode. So I'll show you right here, or I'm sorry, the night mode. You activate night mode, and like I mentioned, it's AMOLED, so it's going to have a really nice, deep, dark blacks, and it just looks really nice on the A20. Everything just gets blackened out, and this is actually going to save in the battery department because it shuts off those pixels that aren't being used. And that night mode changes up your messaging application, your dialer. It just kind of turns everything nice and dark. Now, when it comes to viewing the A20 outdoors in direct sunlight, I really didn't have any issues. The device gets plenty bright enough for me to see outdoors. It's a nice sunny day. As you can see here, auto brightness works perfect. It'll just crank itself up and bring the brightness down depending on the lighting environment. When it comes to the audio now that's coming from the single down-firing speaker, it actually produces some really nice audio. Now, it's not going to be as loud or as good as a front-firing speaker, but for this being a single down-firing speaker, it definitely gets the job done. As you can hear some sample music that is playing from the single down-firing speaker on the Samsung Galaxy A20. Now, another great feature you have on the A20 is a 3.5mm headphone jack, and this headphone jack produces some excellent sound. Now, when you plug in your headphones, be sure to activate the Dolby Atmos. Once you activate Dolby Atmos, you're going to definitely hear a difference in the audio quality. It's going to sound much more richer. It's just going to sound much better, but be sure to activate that because it doesn't activate on its own, and it only works with headphones. But as you can see, it is customizable, so you can switch between the 4 different settings here, and they honestly make a difference when you are listening to your music, watching movies. So a really good feature when it comes to the headphone jack. And moving on, let's go ahead and talk about call quality because that is important in a phone review. Calls were coming in perfectly fine, nice and clear, and I didn't suffer from any type of drop calls. Callers on the other end said they heard me perfectly fine. Now moving on to text messaging, sending out picture messages, receiving them, everything seemed to work perfectly fine. I really like Samsung's keyboard and the features that Samsung provides. So again, phone calls, text messages, even sending out emails, all working perfectly fine on the A20. All my notifications have been coming in perfect. So when it comes to what's under the hood of the A20, you're going to get for the GPU the Mali G71, and they're going to get the Exynos 7884. So this is an octa-core processor. You're also going to get 3 gigabytes of RAM. Now when it comes to the performance of the A20, using this as my daily smartphone, I did notice when I am opening up some applications, it can take a couple seconds to go ahead and load up and open, but I've never experienced this apps crashing on me, freezing. All the apps will open up, but sometimes it can be a little delay there. I also like the picture-in-picture mode that you are going to get with the A20. I mean, you get this feature on other smartphones, but I wanted to point that out because that is a feature that I use a lot on my A20. I like the fact you can have YouTube playing in the background, GPS maps open, and then you can go ahead and use your A20, go ahead and open up other applications and navigate around. And then you also get the voice recorder on the A20 as well as Samsung Health. Now, Samsung Health can definitely be a very useful feature for a lot of people, especially if you're interested in tracking your activity. So as you can see, the different areas that you can track and monitor, which is a nice feature to have on the Samsung Galaxy A20. Now, going into RAM management, again, 3 gigabytes of RAM is what you got on the A20. This is also rocking One UI from Samsung. So with the RAM management, it actually does a pretty decent job with keeping background apps open. But again, if you have too many apps open in the background and you have a bunch of Chrome tabs open, you'll definitely see some slowdown and some sluggishness. But every once in a while, it will reload an application that I did have open. But for the most part, a good overall user experience. Now, when it comes to the settings here, with the A20, this is packed with a lot of great features. For instance, you got the Galaxy Theme Store. This is an excellent way of customizing your A20 with the wallpapers, the themes. You got different icons you can choose. Now, some are free and some you have to pay for, but the free ones are actually fantastic. A lot of great wallpapers here, and that's just the great thing about Android is all the customizable features, and Samsung gives you a whole lot of ways of customizing your A20. Now, jumping into display now, as you can see, a lot of great features that you have available. I'm going to go into screen mode because as you can see, you got different options to choose from, like adaptive display, AMOLED Cinema, AMOLED Photo, and this is just fantastic. I mean, these features are what you are getting on the flagship phones from Samsung. You can also switch up the navigation keys and go full screen gestures, so you can basically just remove those on-screen buttons and use gestures to navigate, go home, go back, and open up your recent apps. Good features you got there. And moving on, you also got your advanced features, and as you can see, all the different ones available. You got game launcher, dual messenger, send SOS messages, motions and gestures now, and I have all of these enabled because I use all these features. A really good one you have here is the one-handed mode. So if you got smaller hands and you want to shrink down the display, just go ahead and swipe to the far corner there, and that'll shrink down the display, and you can just use it just as normal. You can switch it from one side to the next. So really good feature you got there. Let's go ahead and move on and talk about the device care. Now, device care is a really good option you have. I definitely recommend doing this about once a week. It'll help optimize your system, keep it running smooth. I'm at 100%. And let's go ahead and talk about storage now. So again, you're getting 32 gigabytes of internal storage, but if that's not enough, you can always input a micro SD card up to 512 gigabytes. for expanding that storage. And then you're going to be able to move your photos, your music, and some apps to the SD card. And like I mentioned earlier, this is rocking One UI on the A20. You also got November 1st, 2019 security patch, which is basically on par with other devices that are in the same price category as the A20. And you do got Android Pie on board. So I have been getting consistent updates on my A20 since I purchased it, so hopefully we will continue to see updates. Rumor has it that this will get updates in the future. Now when it comes to battery life, again, a 4000 milliamp hour non-removable battery, and battery life is fantastic on the Samsung Galaxy A20. I cannot kill this device in a single day. You're also going to get a 15-watt fast charger included in the box, so you are going to get the fast charging capabilities on this device. So if you're looking for a device that has fantastic battery life, great standby time, the Samsung Galaxy A20 is definitely a fantastic device when it comes to battery life. Now, when it comes to the Geekbench 5 test, I did run the test and I got 244 for the single core score, 898 for the multi-core score. And when it comes to the Antutu benchmark test, as you can see, those are all the numbers that the A20 did score in. Now, I know these numbers are not the highest compared to some other phones, but numbers don't mean everything. Real world usage is what counts. And when it comes to gameplay, I was able to download all my favorite games off the Google Play Store perfectly fine. No games froze, no games crashed on me. When it comes to playing more graphic intense games like Asphalt 9, PUBG, you're going to be able to definitely play those games. And I didn't experience any type of overheating issues on the Samsung Galaxy A20. You got all the necessary sensors to run these type of games. Now, when it comes to light games like Subway Surfers, Temple Run, those games all run perfectly fine. When it comes to PUBG, I was able to play this on medium graphic settings. As you can see, I'm playing the game. There was really no issues to report. Maybe you will see an occasional drop in frame here and there. Nothing major, especially for the price point on this device. So yeah, you'll definitely be able to gameplay on the Samsung Galaxy A20. And moving on to the cameras now. So again, a dual camera setup to the back, a 13 megapixel f1.9 aperture plus a secondary 5 megapixel f2.2 aperture, 8 megapixel camera to the front. And one of my favorite things about the A20 is the wide angle mode for taking photos and for taking videos. So it does a really good job with the wide angle camera. It does lose some resolution compared to the main camera, but at the same time, it just captures so much more into the shot, which I absolutely love. Now, the area where the A20 does struggle in is going to be in low lit environments, dark situations. You'll see some noise in the photos and videos, and so it's just not the strong point when it comes to low light photos and videos. When it comes to video recording, you can record at 1080p 30 frames per second, and video recording, it looks nice, but it definitely does lack some stabilization there, so you're going to want to have a really steady hand when recording videos, or even maybe put it on a selfie stick or a tripod. But overall, for the price point of this device, the cameras are up to par. It takes some decent photos. You got the live focus mode for those bokeh shots with the blurred out background of your subject, panorama, pro mode. Here are some photo samples shot on the Samsung Galaxy A20. Well, that's pretty much it for my full review of the Samsung Galaxy A20. I think this is a great device. I've made a lot of coverage on this smartphone. I felt like this was one of the best affordable smartphones that was released in 2019. Some great value with this device. And now, several months later, 2020 now, this is still a good option in my opinion, especially with all the great deals that are being offered on the A20. Again, you can get this free at a port over special. You can get this for like 10 bucks a month, or you can just go on Amazon, pick it up fully unlocked for around $180. Definitely shop around because there are some good deals out there, good promotions regarding the A20. Well, to wrap up this full review, I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to watch this video. It definitely means a lot to me that you took time out of your busy day. And if you can, please hit that thumbs up button for me, and please subscribe to the channel for more future videos just like this, full reviews, unboxing videos, case reviews. I'm going to try to cover as much content for you guys in 2020. And again, thank you very much. This is Paul Tech, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye.